Heidi Heron, A Call to Fly. A Call to Fly, Heidi Heron.
Come to the edge, he said. We can't. We're afraid, they said. Come to the edge, he said. We can't. We will fall, they responded. These are lines from a poem by Christopher Logue, and they remind me how much fear holds people back. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, how often does fear hold you back? Have you been held prisoner to fear? Have you ever not done something because you were scared? Maybe something like enter a speech competition. I've always been intrigued. Why do some people drown in the face of fear while other people feel the fear and do it anyway? And I found a variety of criteria that seems to set people up not just for success, but for personal growth through fear. And I'd like to share two of these with you tonight. The first is hope for the future, and the second, the support of others. When we have hope for the future and the support of others, we can excel in the face of fear. We can be courageous. We can fly. Rebecca was a high school student, and she was done with being bullied and belittled. She was finished with living with anxiety and fear. And at home alone one afternoon, she had completed her preparations. She had her supplies, she had cleaned her room, she'd written some notes. And then there was a knock on the door. She opened the door to find a girl about her age who had just moved into the house next door. And the girl from next door asked her if she wanted to come over and hang out with her that afternoon. With a little bit of struggle, after all, Rebecca had plans, but a glimmer of hope. Rebecca said yes. Hope. Hope is an expectation, a desire for a particular thing to happen. Without hope, we have hopelessness and despair. James Marshall was a speedboat racer. In a race during 1997, his boat hit a wake and shot into the air, straight into the air. And as we all know, what goes up must come down. And he was splat straight into that water, tumbling down, down into the depths of his despair. He didn't know which way it was, up or down. He didn't know what way to swim. He was struggling to find his bearings, struggling to save his life. His life flashed before his eyes, and he was flooded with despair. We all struggle, don't we? Especially when there's fear. And as James was under that water, finding his way up or down, left or right, he was lost. He didn't know which way to go. And he knew in an instant he had to stop the fight. He had to stop the struggle, or fear would win. And the moment he did, the moment he stopped the struggle, he began to float upwards towards the sky, towards the surface, towards... It happens sometimes, doesn't it? It does for me. That when fear comes our way, we have a choice. We can lay down in defeat, or we can have hope. Hope that allows us to breathe through fear. And sometimes Sometimes it's the support of others that truly makes the difference. Rebecca and the girl from next door became best of friends for many years to come. But it was only on Rebecca's wedding day that the girl from next door learned the full truth. At Rebecca's wedding, she actually gave a speech at her reception. I'm quite sure she completed the Toastmasters speechcraft course first. And in her toast, she said, I want to thank someone who's here today, that without this person, I might not be here. And she went on to thank her best friend for knocking on her door so many years ago. That was the day that fear had won. She had completed her preparations. She had her fist full of pills to take. She had cleaned her room so her parents didn't have to. And she'd written her notes to say goodbye. She was done with living in isolation and fear. She would have ended her life that day, but she didn't, because of a knock on the door. We don't know who's going to knock on our door, or who's going to enter our life, or whose life we will enter because of a kind word or a smile or an invitation. But with the hope for the future and the support of others, we can survive, we can excel and thrive in the face of fear. We can look towards the future. We can float and rise to the surface. We can hold the hands of those around us and lean into fear. We can fly. You will hear the call from fear. Come to the edge, it will say. And you will go to the edge. And fear will push you, and you will fly. Contest chair.